A Minecraft movie is in theaters now, so get your blocks ready to block your get the I don't know anything about Minecraft. This video is brought to you by Chubbies. Use code Dan Murrell at chubbyshorts.com to get 20% off your order, and stay tuned after the video for more info. Hello everybody, I'm Dan Murrell here with my review of a Minecraft movie, and it's actually hitting on Friday morning because I went to see it yesterday when it opened in theaters. Strangely, Warner Brothers has stopped screening most or all of their releases for regional critics, meaning the region where I am in, not necessarily in a lot of the other cities around the country. So I'm having to wait till they come out. But you know what? That's fine because I get to see it with a paying audience, and it kind of gives me a better idea of how the general public might react to some of these films. Now, I'm going to say this right up front. That wasn't just a joke at the beginning of the video. I am completely ignorant of anything having to do with Minecraft. I have not played the game for a second. I did not approach this movie with an eye toward references or anything having to do with the game because I quite frankly just don't know anything about it. I approach this as an adventure film based on something that I don't have any knowledge of and that I knew was aimed towards a younger audience. A Minecraft movie is directed by Jared Hess, who broke out over 20 years ago with Napoleon Dynamite, that's more my era, and who also directed Jack Black nearly 20 years ago in Nacho Libre. I admire the quirky sensibilities that you get from a Jared Hess film, even though I don't always love the movie itself. And you can see a lot of those sensibilities in a Minecraft movie as well. This is not the case where an artist is completely swallowed up by the giant product that spurred the inspiration for the movie. Jack Black plays Steve, a man who has always yearned for the mines. I'm told that's a popular meme and I want to sound hip. While mining, Steve discovers the Orb of Dominance, which unlocks a realm called the Overworld, where you can use blocks to build anything that you can imagine. After the Overworld is threatened by piglin warriors from a dark realm called the Nether, Steve hides the key to the Overworld until it's rediscovered by a young tech whiz named Henry, played by Sebastian Hansen, who's sucked into the Overworld along with his sister Natalie, played by Wednesday's Emma Myers, local realtor Dawn, played by Danielle Brooks, and a washed-up 80s video game champion named Garrett the Garbage Man Garrison, played by Jason Momoa, who seems to only take jobs where he can just show up on set and have a good time. Honestly, not a bad gig. What happens next is an adventure to protect the Overworld as the gang mines materials to build weapons and gadgets. And also in a completely unrelated story that could have been cut from this movie entirely, the kid's vice principal, played by Jennifer Coolidge, romances a villager who stumbles into our world. It is completely superfluous to the rest of the movie, but I have to admit, it's also quite funny. When the first trailer for this movie hit last year, I thought it looked like, to put it in technical movie critic terms, total garbage. It looked like terrible visuals mixed with the worst, lowest common denominator humor that you could possibly imagine. And I would think that many people are expecting me to sit here and write this movie off as complete trash, exhibit number 547 of the dumbing down of American filmgoers and American kids especially. But here's the thing, it kind of isn't. Now, don't get me wrong, the script for this movie is an absolute mess. It is a string of action scenes and video game references, barely strung together into something that you might call a plot. But it feels like the actors in this movie knew that. And like the day before they started filming, they all had like a secret meeting under candlelight and they said, listen, this thing is a mess. And the only way for us to get out of it is if we all give it 110%. If we all go as over the top as we possibly can, if we inject as much humor based on our own personalities as we possibly can, that's the only way that we can build a good movie out of what we've been given. And to be quite frank, they almost pull it off. Let's start with Jack Black, who is a force of nature, and here he takes the movie on his back and just refuses to let it suck. If a scene is dragging, he peps it up. If a joke or line is bad, he puts a spin on it to make it funny. And he has a lot of backup from Jason Momoa, who's kind of just doing his own thing as well. The two of them have a dynamic chemistry that's 80% bromance and 20% just actual romance. And they're fun to watch. The actors playing the kids who are along for the ride are earnest and play their parts well. And Danielle Brooks is there as the person who just gets to comment on all the craziness that's happening. It's a weird mix of different energies that very easily could have blown up in the movie's face, but it doesn't. And it's not just the actors, there are lots of jokes that work in this movie. I was laughing throughout the film, and usually not at the things that the kids in the theater were laughing at. And walking out, I had to admit to myself that it wasn't an unpleasant experience. I would actually not dread having to sit through it a second time. Having said that, it's definitely not a great movie. The script is not good, and it does eventually devolve into a barely coherent parade of loud noises and explosions that represent pretty much the entirety of Act 3 when the performers are sidelined and the spectacle takes over. But I can't do what I think many people would expect a lot of critics my age, and honestly viewers my age, to do, which is to sit back and fold my arms and say, I don't get this, I don't understand it, and I don't like it, and to dismiss this movie out of hand. It is very true that Minecraft is one of the dominant cultural forces that completely passed me by. It is absolutely for a generation or two generations younger than me. And I feel like I can now relate to how my mom must have felt when she sat with me and watched the first Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie back in 1990, which is an understanding of why kids enjoy this, but at the same time a recognition that it has absolutely no relevance to me. But like that first Ninja Turtles movie, a Minecraft movie also has a lot of charms that lie outside of its underlying intellectual property. And strangely, I think the audiences who are going to like it the most are, first and foremost, kids 13 and under, followed by adults. Maybe I'm totally wrong, but I feel like the teenage/early 20s crowd, in large part, may label this movie as cringe because there is such an earnest effort by the actors in the film to entertain the audience. And from my experience, for a lot of people in that age range, I'm not going to say everybody, but for many, this sort of earnestness is often labeled as cringy or try hard or whatever. I could be totally off base on that. That's just my amateur observation. If a Minecraft movie had played things more seriously and gone a conventional route, I think this movie would have been a total disaster. If the cast had been less honest with themselves about the type of movie that they were in and less motivated to entertain the audience anyway, then I think this would have been a total disaster. But a Minecraft movie somehow assembled the perfect team to avoid it being a total disaster. It's not a great movie, but I think that it's a fun one. And on my personal scale, I'm putting a Minecraft movie right on the line between it's fine and it's good. If the third act had dared to be more humorous and less of the mind-numbing gunk that I worried the whole movie would be, then this would have easily fallen into the it's good category. But if you're a parent or an older brother or sister that is dreading going to this movie because you're getting dragged to it by a younger member of your family, then I'm happy to report that, at least for my part, I don't think this is going to be the miserable experience that you might think it'll be. So those are my thoughts on a Minecraft movie. What do you think? Have you seen it already? Are you going this weekend? It looks like it's shaping up to have a fantastic opening weekend, maybe the best of the year so far. Let me know down in the comments below. And before we go, I'm going to thank the sponsor for this review, Chubbies. It's that time of year when those warm temperatures are starting to break through that winter ice. And on the warm days we've had so far this spring, I'm double excited because I get to break out my gear from Chubbies. Their Friday shirt is a particular favorite of mine, perfect for that spring or summer afternoon. No matter what activity you have planned, a barbecue, a round of golf, watching the flowers bloom, or reading an ad spot about how it's getting warmer outside, Chubbies has the style for any spring occasion. For example, Chubbies has stuff like the ultimate training shorts if you decide to take that early spring beach vacation. Or if you want to take a literal walk in the park, Chubbies original shorts give you a classic feel with a modern look. They even offer their everywhere shorts, which are perfect for anywhere and, well, everywhere. It's a play on words. You see how that works? You deserve a wardrobe upgrade for springtime, and for a limited time, Chubbies is giving fans of the show 20% off your order with my exclusive code, Dan Murrell, at chubbyshorts.com. Plus, I can't forget Chubbies' classic line swim collection. If you're not scared of sharks like I am and actually enjoy getting into the water at the beach, Chubbies swimsuits and their quick-drying 4-way stretch fabric are maybe the peak of human accomplishment. It's either that or NASA. Whether you're getting dressed for your workday, a workout, or a weekend getaway, Chubbies has you covered. For a limited time, Chubbies is giving fans of the show 20% off your order with my code Dan Murrell at chubbyshorts.com. That's code Dan Murrell at chubbyshorts.com. Support the show and tell them that I sent you. Don't blend in with the crowd. Stand out with Chubbies. Thanks to Chubbies for sponsoring this review, and thank you for watching. Be sure to stay tuned right here for more movie news, reviews, box office, and more. Until next time, stay safe, and I'll see you then. Bye.